Dead Cat. How's everybody doing? Hi, Gray. Hi, Peach. How y'all doing? I had to go get some water at the last second. All right. Right earlier. And now. Test, test. Can you guys hear me? Can anybody hear me there? How's the volume sounding? Just a minute. Testing, testing. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Test, test. Can y'all hear me now? I'm starting to see some feedback here. All right. Okay, give it a moment for the chat to catch up on the audio. Yay! Hey, Never. Hey, Peach. Hey, Gray. Thanks for popping in. Okay, so now that the gremlins have been set away, oh, and we've got a Sterling. Hi, sweetie. Glad to see you in there. All right, so let's get this thing going. So, hi, I'm your host, Living Dead Cat. It's great to see you guys back. And this is my art and mental health stream where I do arts, crafts, whatever. Lately, I've been doing a lot of dragon eggs, and I'm really getting into them. It's not an addiction, I swear, but it is an obsession lately, and it helps my anxious little brain to calm down and whatnot. It's a lot of fun. So I want to go ahead and remind you guys. Well, not remind, but tell y'all for the first time. Yay! Um, yeah, it's never a big deal, but to get more followers and regulars, blah, 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 because I am trying to get to the affiliate. And so go ahead and follow and turn on notifications if you want to come back and be reminded, blah, blah, yada, yada, yada. So, anyhow, today's topic is relationships with mental health. And what this is going to center around is not just like dating relationships, but also relationships with family, friends, children, aunts, uncles. I mean, that all falls under family, but still. Um, the experiences with family members, loved ones, and other people you care about when it comes to mental health. Things that you have noticed work, don't work, um, supportive people in your life, your circle of support. That could be family, friends, and things like that. Just anything in general that you would, you know, link to your relationships with others and mental health. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pop into the main channel here and say hi to everybody who's in Discord. Hey guys, how's it going?
Not too bad.
I'm also going to post the Discord channel into the chat. If anybody over the age of 18 wants to pop in Discord and join the chat, thank you so much. Those are the dragon eggs that have already been made, and some of those have actually sold. So, yay! I'm going to go ahead and say hi individually to everybody. Yes, Peach says hi voices in Kitty's stream. So, first off, hi Panther, how are you doing?
Not doing too bad. It's been a day, as days tend to be, but we're all here, I guess.
Well, hang in there, buddy. It's usually worse before it gets better, and I know you had a headache earlier, so hopefully it's kind of fading off. Hi Gray, how's it going?
Kapla! Also, Panther, where is here?
Here, Colorado.
I was hoping you were going to go deeper than that, but I'll take it.
That's what she said.
Hi Squishy. Family friendly, remember?
Hi.
I couldn't help it. That was too perfect.
I know. Hi Squishy, I hope you're doing okay.
I am.
And glad you got home safe, I hope.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good.
Only 2 bystanders killed.
We're not going to talk about that, Gray.
Okay, and hi Chef, how are you doing?
Good evening. Been an interesting week of some ups and downs, but at least I haven't been bored, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's better to be bored than to have too many things going on.
I'm handling.
Hi Tolar, how you doing?
I am.
Okay. We might dive into that later. We might not. Who knows? Does anybody know if Steven's going to make it tonight?
Haven't really talked to him today, except to post, the whole legal stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah, I sent him a message. Hadn't gotten anything back, so he's probably busy at work. I did also send a shout out to one of my Twitch people that I befriended. What is that called?
I think he hit it.
Networking people. Yes. One of my Twitch networkers or whatever it is. Mike Steezy. He's one of the first Twitch friends that I made outside of
Yeah,
Panther.
you mentioned him before.
Yeah, he's fun. And he actually joined us for a game one time in Faz, and it didn't go over so well. But I was a little hyper and excited that night, so I'm going to blame it on that and kind of. I've taught enough people in Faz, and I guess I just didn't want to do it anymore and just took off without the poor guy. So, lesson learned. Okay, so tonight's discussion, as I've let everybody know, is relationships and mental health. And again, that could be anything from family to friends to, lovers, anything like that. So if anybody wants to get started, I'm going to go ahead and take off my little slideshow. Oh, I almost forgot. Sorry. One more thing. I now have Jasper in the corner. He is my mascot. And then the shout outs Spanner in the Works, Tower of Issa, K Appleby, Kitsue, and DPS, also known as Dragon Panther Studios. Check them out at dragonpantherstudios.com. Also, check out my alter ego for gaming streams at Kit Dreadbane on Twitch. Also on Twitter, blah, 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 yada, yada. So, without those shout outs up in the corner, I wouldn't be here doing what I'm doing now. So thank you to them. Go check them out on Twitch. Go check them out on Twitter, Instagram, all of that fun stuff. Now I will go ahead and stop the slideshow. Yay! I can get stuff going now. I'm going to go ahead and just do some eggs tonight. I'm not going to paint. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to put stuff together. So if anybody wants to start with the topic tonight, feel free to do so while I get set up.
As a reminder, the topic is relationships with mental illness.
Well, I mean, okay, so let's what kind of stuff about stress in relationships? Where are we going with this?
Yeah, I kind of need to expand upon this.
Well,
Well,
this
I can
this could
start on
be.
it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So my parents are very conservative, and they're very kind of anti-emotion, anti um, feelings, and my sister is like super ADHD, and in order to get that diagnosis, my mom had to basically find a doctor that my dad would believe. Um, he certainly wasn't going to take it from just any psychiatrist or general practitioner. So my mom found one that she thought was going to, be believable to my father, and got my sister, finally diagnosed. But even after the diagnosis, it was, well, here, take your medication. It wasn't, okay, well, we need to learn how to help you live with, you know, the way that your brain works. So, in my opinion, learning to live with what you have, whether it's through medication, whether it's through routines, or through, um, you know, just trial and error, having the people around you help you with that, especially with her, being able to only pay attention for so long to certain things, it really would have benefited her had they taken the time to, for a better lack of a better term, train her to help her, succeed basically.
Hmm.
So in watching this, I realized that, you know they may have been doing the best they could. I don't think so, but never know. But I know that at this point, um, not having basic skills to cope with, something that she's going to live with for the rest of her life has been fairly detrimental to her. And I, I've tried to do the best that I can to help, but even at that point, there's only so far that family can help with that.
Mm.
Definitely.
And at this age, it's more of a, I can point things out, I can point it out again, but then I just kind of have to let it lie because she is an adult. She needs to take responsibility for what she's doing or not doing. And I can try to help, but I also don't want to be, I don't want to be a mom. I don't want to be overbearing or anything of that sort. So there are many times when I'm like, I want to say something, but I don't want it to hurt your feelings. And I'll let her tell me, okay, well, go ahead and tell me, or not right now.
Mm.
That's fair.
So,
If I may, I've got a little bit of insight into some things that might end up being a little bit helpful. But so like and I'm not an authority on like ADHD or adult ADHD, but I am a person who goes through it. And recently, I've had reason to look into it a lot. And one of the things that I find that definitely rings true for me is that for most people, building habits is as easy as doing the thing, feeling good about doing the thing, and then continuing to do that thing regularly so that you feel good about it. For ADHD people, there's not really so much of the dopamine interaction for doing a good job, so it's really difficult to actually start to form habits, even if they're things that are legitimately good for you, and things that you need to be responsible for, things you need to be taken care of in order to make sure that you can function. There's no neurochemical payout for doing so. So it's not that it's harder to form habits. Things don't become habitual, and that reads to a lot of people who aren't going through ADHD, like a person's just not keeping their mind about them or not doing the things that they're supposed to do, or they're just refusing to, or they're not working to form the habits. And it's not really like that at all. And sadly enough, if you're a person who's not going through ADHD, particularly as a parent trying to express it to a kid, I think it's probably pretty impossible to really explain to a kid like what's happening or how to do better, because I found that the way that I have to do things is things often need to just get bad enough that I need to do something to fix it, or else like there will be serious physical harm that comes from it.
Hmm.
Um, and the only thing that's really helped with that is to have, somebody or a community of people who occasionally will throw something at me and be like, hey, you have to get up right now and do the thing.
And Peach says I've run into that a lot recently.
Yeah, I've had a hard time trying to help yet not being a mother. Um,
I
and she appreciates it most of the time, and she will tell me that. But I also know that she has some trauma around some daily tasks that most people would think are not a big deal. Specifically laundry. Um, my parents would harp on her constantly about you need to be putting your laundry in a laundry basket. You need to make sure that you get it washed, regularly, and your room shouldn't look like your dresser exploded onto the floor type thing. But it was all incredibly negative. So now she has to fight through not only the fact that she doesn't get the dopamine from doing the task, but also the fact that whenever she thinks about it, it's a negative thing.
Yep, absolutely. Like that sort of stuff can definitely bring a lot of anxiety around just doing tasks. And it's worse when it's a task that like you need to do and like nobody's going to do it for you, and if you don't get it done there will be a problem. But like yeah, getting locked into that feeling of just being thrown back into like that idea that like I'm not good enough or I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, and having
Hmm.
somebody in authority basically berating you for not doing it. And it's like, dude, I really tried this time. I even thought that I had actually done it, and I didn't.
Hmm.
Oh, yay. Peach is going to join the voice chat and share.
I was going to say to a point you
Awesome.
made, Squishy, you made slightly previously, is that about helping other people is I have a wonderful mother who is very good at helping me. Was growing up very good at helping me with the like loving pushes to do the things that I needed loving pushes on. But now that I'm an adult, I found that that system has stopped working because I like the difference between her telling me to do something and me doing it myself is like there's a lot of times where I'm like, yes, I need to do that. Yes, you've reminded me 3 times, but I need to do this to own the doing of the task, or else it changes the context of things, and that's something that I've had to figure out other ways to become helped that allow me to to do things and take ownership of the doing of them, because I it is like because I'm not 14 anymore. At least not physically.
I like that. I like that
Men,
way.
men,
I like the way of putting it, taking ownership of tasks. And I mean, like, that's definitely a thing. Like, it's the only way that I can ever get things done is to remind myself that at the end of the day, no one's going to be mad at me if I don't do this, and nobody's going to punish me if I don't do this. But it won't be done, and I'm going to feel really crappy about it later. So I might as well find a way to get myself through it now.
I want to say this before Peach chimes in, and it's something I'll expand upon later in this conversation. But one of the things that I'm having to face as of recent is how my stepfather, soon to be ex stepfather, used to use um, me and mom's mental health against us, more specifically bipolar.
Mm, that's terrible.
Like discrediting things you say because bipolar or stuff like that.
Bingo. Also, the way that
Yeah,
we feel.
yeah, that
That's happened to me at work for my anxiety. Being told that, you know, I may have forgotten something or uh, not done something right or made a mistake due to my mental illness. And it really, really hurt. It stung more than I thought it would. It's like, no, I made the mistake because I wasn't paying attention. That has nothing to do with, you know, my PTSD, anxiety, depression. Uh, I do have ADD, the attention deficit portion of it. And while that could have made a play in it, it's, I don't define myself or my inability to do things by my mental illnesses.
hashtag I am not my mental illness.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Has Peach hopped in yet?
Yes, she's
Yeah.
here.
Hi, Peach. Go ahead. Thanks for sharing.
Hello. No problem. So growing up, I had like my grandmother and my mother, they were like the strong influences in my life. And my grandmother dealt with manic depression and bipolar disorder. And so she kind of always told me that it's okay to not be okay. And I live by that more recently than I did before. I do this thing called creating doom boxes where I will have a really high anxiety day and I will just stack things in boxes. And in relationships, you can't just throw stuff in a box and put a box in the corner because then people get upset because there's this box and it's got all this random crap in it and nobody knows what is exactly in it and they get mad at you. And so it affected me to the point where even now, and I know Papa has noticed it, I will create a doom box and then I'll go through it and then I'll pull stuff out of it and put it in a different box and then throw that box away
Hmm.
because my brain is like it's going to cause problems. And my biggest doom box that I had a collection of books, a little over 100,000 books that were in boxes.
Oh,
And
wow.
I had read them at some point in my life. I liked the book, so I kept the book. And I got into a relationship and it was really bad. And the first thing that he wanted me to get rid of was my doom boxes. And I was like, no, I can't. Those are important. They have important things. And in getting rid of them, not only did I lose books, but I lost important paperwork or things that I need to keep up with. And it kind
Personally, I
of,
feel personally I feel bad about it because I would have liked to go through those with you.
yeah. Uh, I had books when the kids were little, and it kind of it made me more anxious to let people know that I have issues, as my friends would call them, but they don't say it in a way that means, oh, she's crazy. It's more of, hey, I see your lifetime subscription right now, and I really want to help you, but I'm having a lifetime subscription right now, so I'm gonna give you a hug, and then I'm gonna go do my thing, and you do your thing.
Hmm.
And it became such a thing that in relationships, they would get mad at me for having these boxes of random crap. And anytime they would ask me for something, I'd be like, it's in the fourth box from the floor, on the bottom of the box. You'll have to go past the comic books or something like that. And I would know where everything was because they were my safety space. But
Okay.
then but then it was my safety space was a problem. So it has rolled into drawers that are over beside our bed that have now become my doom boxes. Like you can go in there and find everything. Um, my mom gets more upset that I don't doom box anymore because that was her way of making sure I was okay.
Hmm. Are these items that you're afraid to get rid of because of the sentimental value, or is it just random things that you've
It
gathered?
it's an ADHD person's response to organization.
Okay,
Yeah.
so just putting things away in any way, shape, or form.
No, 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 no,
Yes.
no, no, no.
No?
There's specific things in specific boxes. The way that they connect does not always make sense to other people. But like, if
Gotcha.
I open a box and see one of the things that's in there, I know the rest of the crap that's in there.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
and I
Okay.
just jumping in because when you mentioned that, it's like that struck a chord because I cannot say countless times that I had butted heads with somebody because they were like, I don't like the way you do this. Because I mean, I had similar the way I organize things, not so much in boxes, but it for me that made perfect sense. Everything is where it belonged. I knew how to find it, but the other person was like, that doesn't make sense. I need to go here. And I'm like, that's not your item though. You know, if it's mine specifically and you're only borrowing it, borrow it and put it back where you found it. Um,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and I think kind of adding to that is like, and we determined because there is a term for this, and I forgot what it is because I looked it up one time. She had a condition where basically she cannot leave something in its place. And
Oh,
I'm
that's more
not
like
just picking
me.
a fight. She literally would find something and like move it to somewhere else, and then like if she came upon it, she would move it again. She is a constant mover, and I told her it's like that is fine for your items, but if it's because if that's yours specifically, move your stuff around. I don't care. I will ask you where it is because she never knew where anything was at either, and that was kind of a pain point as well. But like if I need to find my tape measure, and my tape measure is either in the garage, like on my work table, or it's in the second drawer in the kitchen, then if I go to those two places, my tape measure is not there. I will come to you because I know you were the only one who's touched it besides me, and that was like the pain point. So it's like I get it. Everyone is like it doesn't look normal or whatever, but it's like we know exactly where everything is at that we need to know where it's at. Even though it looks like chaos, that's how our brain functions. So,
I didn't
but
know
I
that was an
feel you on that
ADD
one.
thing because I have that at work and just
Yeah,
about
Yeah,
everything I have at home. But I
it's
mean,
something that seems to be associated more with ADHD than in most other disorders because
huh.
it's one of those things where we're constantly reordering our brain and the way that we make connections in our brain. And that's why, for example, Peach brought up the whole thing of taking stuff out of one box and moving it to a different box because now this is where it fits. It now belongs in a different place.
Huh.
And nothing has changed about the item, but my brain has forged a different connection and now this goes here.
That's so interesting.
Resorting and reorganizing things is absolutely a not that guilty pleasure of mine.
Golden egg.
Yay.
Who's ready for Willy Wonka?
Me.
Um,
But I
I
totally understand the doom boxes, um, primarily because I've seen my sister do it. And I cannot function that way. My brain does not go there. My brain does not do that. So for me to try to find things in her space, I just stop and ask because you never know where she's put what. Because, like you said, you're constantly moving everything.
I don't do quite the same thing in terms of I don't put everything in boxes. The thing I do is a horizontal organization. I want to have everything laid out so I can see it. And the thing is, I almost have the same thing because if you ask me where a specific item is, I can tell you that it's in the little tray by the foot of my by the foot of the second desk underneath the box of envelopes, and I know exactly where everything is. It's not necessarily in boxes, but I feel this feels like a similar concept of I know where every single thing is if you ask me, but but it's not a consistent organization system. It's just I just don't end up putting things in boxes because I'm not gonna say trauma with putting things in boxes, but I did when I was like 7. My parents came across me and my brother putting things into a box, pushing it to another room in the house, and unpacking it again, playing a game called Moving because we'd already moved 6 times.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
I know
can see how
for,
that would lend possibly a not a negative but an uncomfortable connotation to that.
I know for
It's
me, the boxes became a thing because my mom, of course, I'm African American. My mom and my grandmother, we lived in apartments, and a 3 bedroom apartment with 2 kids and 2 adults. You don't have a lot of space, so I started doing doom boxes because I could organize my things and know where they were. My baby brother touches my things, and he was one of the reasons why the boxes worked for me because I could put them in an area and he would be like, "That's Nico's box. I don't know where that thing is that I want. I have to go ask her now."
And then for my part, boxing is usually a trauma response for me. So when I was a lot younger, my mother was very specific about how I would clean my room, and my mother had some rage disorders that she was working through. So she would come, for example, tell me to clean my room. My time limit would be up, and she would come into my room and she would find something out of the place that she wanted it to be. And she would trash my room and then give me a much shorter time limit to fix the problem that she'd created. So I started just finding ways to package up my stuff and put it away and just have it completely out of sight entirely so that even if it wasn't placed where she wanted it to be, it couldn't be thrown across my room.
Oh
So
wow.
and Peach has definitely seen this. When it does come to me putting my stuff in boxes, I am completely stressed out, and I will do it very well and very efficiently. And then I will put those boxes away, and I won't touch those boxes for a year.
Huh. That's interesting.
Hey, that sounds a lot like my boss right now.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, how's that?
Almost exactly like you said. He hasn't started throwing things yet, but he's done everything else we just described.
Oh wow, that dude, that sucks. I'm sorry you're dealing with that, bud. I don't know how I would respond to that as an adult because I know as a kid there's only so much that you can really do, particularly when it's somebody else's house and they provide the food that you eat. But
Hmm.
like
Oh well.
as an adult, I don't know how I'd respond to an adult trying to act that way. I'm having enough trouble with a roommate who simply doesn't want to leave the house properly.
Oh well. Yeah.
Somebody literally throwing things around would not go well.
The other two apprentice chefs that work with me on most night shifts are actively looking to transfer to other kitchens within the facility just to get away from them. I have started a job search. He's going to lose all 3 of us at the same time.
I mean, good for you
I
guys.
I
Yeah.
was about to say, like in the working environment, you shouldn't have to put up with that. But then I forgot the kitchen stuff. So, and I know
Yeah.
it's kind of a different beast altogether. Um, but
Oh
yeah, it's
man.
it's like one of those things. Like if your company does have an HR, at least bring it to them and like try and document instances.
The
That's
other
your
two
best
did.
bet. But yeah,
The other two did that. HR didn't care.
yeah, and that's the shitty
Yeah.
thing too. Is like when you work for a company that their HR is not really an HR. Like I work for a place that HR is just payroll. And I'm like, listen, this guy's, and I actually drug him into HR and said, if y'all don't do something, I'm literally going to assault him on the floor. It has come to a head that, if he doesn't stay away from me or whatever, I will hurt him. And all they said was, well, what we do is, paychecks. Like, no, there's HR on your door. So I'm saying this now. So when it goes to court, and they're like, well, let me talk to him and you go stand out there. But it's like, if your HR isn't an HR, that sucks. And that, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I,
Yeah,
I've I've
I
had
get
negative experiences with HR siding with the person that I reported. So
that's definitely a huge thing. And then
Same
I've
here,
got this whole
man.
thing about like normalizing, a kitchen being a place where the guy in charge can just be that huge of a jerk. I don't know, man. Like if you're not top of the world, like best chef ever running, selling plates that are worth 150, a dish,
You
Like
don't get to be Gordon Ramsay if you don't if you're not literally Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, I was about to
exactly.
say that.
Yeah, he is
Exactly.
not.
And even Gordon Ramsay, the entire thing for that is the spectacle of how inappropriate he's acting and how people have to deal with it. Like, it still just points out the fact that that's not how you're supposed to be towards people, especially if you look at the way Gordon is with kids or with his own family or with his fans.
Or
I always
But when
heard
you
that that
turn
was like a
when you
character.
just turns the camera the
it
fuck off,
is.
that's all just. I'm sorry about
Oh,
that.
language.
Oh, goodness.
Sorry about that.
Wow.
I
This
was
is
I
gonna
need
be
a
just
one of
swear
those
thinking.
jar.
taboo
I got a little
buzzers.
too angry. Sorry about that.
So
What's
some
Gordon
of
Ramsay
it's
doing to Fudge again?
Don't worry about it. Let's continue listening to the other Alec.
uh,
So, thing two, what were you saying?
Oh, goodness.
I was just saying, yeah, no, Gordon Ramsay, that's mostly American TV editing. He's done a bunch of British TV shows where he's much more calm and helpful and all around a lovely person.
Well, you know, American TV, we're not happy unless there's drama.
Yes. Pass.
I
Yeah, it's like
having
watching the Great
seen
British Baking Show versus like Hex
American
Kitchen, we'll
Bake
call
Off.
it.
Y'all just gave me a great idea. The Great British Cooking Show, but with like shut collars on.
God.
Yes, absolutely. I'm in. We can produce this. Great. We can produce it.
Back to the topic
No,
at
it's like everything American baking is not. They're always nice. They finish with theirs. They're like, "Do you need help? Are you crying? Let me come help you."
That would be me.
It's super wood too. It's super wood too.
So
Number one person to realize it's a competition and still help out the other person. That's you.
pretty much, yeah.
so on back on something vaguely topic adjacent.
Well, tonight was supposed to be general discussion, but I had already decided to do this topic. My bad. Go ahead.
I have some unsorted and miscellaneous thoughts on the role of a or perhaps more than one life partners and mental health of the
Neat.
the uh, the degree of the degree to which your problems are their problems and your problems aren't their problems, because I mean,
Yes.
as with everything, in everything in moderation, because both extremes are bad. And I've seen, I have seen both extremes in my time. Um, with the same person, which was though and though I don't have that many colorful stories about it. Just generally the concept of, you know, having the having your life partner be the person who, when you need to turn to, you know that you always can, but also making, I don't know, finding the balance of not making sure that when you need to isn't literally every night.
Mm-hmm.
Because that can very easily build up and become toxic in its own way. I don't know. As I said, I've got a loose assortment of not I guess statements with no particular clear conclusion I'm running towards.
No. I kind of
Um,
get what you mean. The entire concept of finding the balance between being somebody's partner and being somebody's therapist.
yes.
And I guess like because I've definitely there have been situations in which I've been on both sides of that fence where maybe I've gone a little too deep on the side of psychoanalyzing somebody when really they just needed maybe to talk and to had to feel heard. And definitely
Mm-hmm.
also on the other
Yeah.
side of needing to tell somebody that they needed to bake off to back off, that I didn't need I wasn't looking for a therapist, or if I was, I would get somebody who was qualified and went to school for it, that I was in a relationship to be supported, not to be analyzed. So like I super see that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then
Also,
on the like the other side is feeling like you can't like come to someone with your problems because or either because you don't have good enough communication in the relationship or because you feel like, well, they're busy with too many things right now. I really
Oh, absolutely.
It's tricky and like and I'm sorry to jump in. It's like what I guess the conclusion to that question that me and my partner came to the time is we actually had to tell each other whenever we would go to them with something. It's like or whoever's listening would ask like, do you want me to be in problem solving mode or do you want me to just listen? Because there
yes,
was a lot of
yes,
Which is
yeah,
a
yes,
super
that
super
question.
great compromise there. I really love that.
I
yeah,
think he
and I mean
likes that
that's
idea.
that was my biggest problem is I am a natural problem solver, and it's like that's the way my
Mhm.
brain works. And I see something, I'm like, oh crap, I want to do this, and I apologize to the kid at the science museum that I pushed him out of the way because I saw he was doing it wrong. But anyway, but it's like, so it's
Peach
like
said she's done something similar with Papa.
yeah. So I mean, it's
Oh
like
yeah.
I always have to just kind of like want to solve the problem. So it was the constant, and really what she was doing was just venting, you
Mhm.
know. And I was listening to her vent. It's like, and after we came to that conclusion, it's like, listen, do you want me to just listen, or do you need me to problem solve? And it's part of the communication thing.
Mhm.
But kind of going on top of that is there are times, even though you're just listening, you might say, okay, listen, I know I'm just listening, but when they're done, kind of come back later. But it's like you vented about this same problem for months now. Do you want to actually solve it, or are you just going to let it eat away at you constantly? Because that is, spilling into our relationship. Um,
That
and I
I
think,
constantly run into as a problem.
yeah, because I mean, if someone all they do is come home and complain about work and everything, and it's like, you start dreading that conversation. It's like I'm going to see my partner, but they're going to be complaining about their job for about 2 hours, and they're going to be tired and go to bed. It's like that's not the relationship I want. I don't want someone just to use me as their venting. So it's like, I did have to say, listen, this is bothering you more than you're probably willing to let on. So, now you need to problem solve, but it's tricky too, because sometimes some people just don't want a problem solved. They just want to complain about it. And, I'm guilty of that too. And I didn't realize it until I was in counseling for a while that I was just emulating what I had witnessed growing up is just to sit there and complain about it, don't do anything. So it's tricky in relationships. Sometimes you just have to communicate that part of, and for me, the biggest one is, which role do you need me right now? If you seriously want to solve the problem, I can do that. If you just want to vent, that's cool. I'll not look at my phone for a little bit, so it looks like I'm actively listening. But if we've done this before, and I know Cheryl's still being a B word, then just tell me what Cheryl did now.
Yeah,
I
kind
like
of.
that.
No,
Cheryl's
it's
still
Yeah.
being a B word. Okay.
Yeah.
I only have so much like patience personally when it comes to somebody's had a problem and they've made it clear that they're not looking for a solution, they just need to vent, and that's fine. But like you got about two times to just do that about one situation, especially if like there's a pretty easy solution that can be affected by something that you do as opposed to, expecting something out of another person or trying to control another person's action. And if I hear about it more than two times, eventually I'm going to be like, okay, so listen here. I'm going to go ahead and say this so that you understand not to bring this to me again. If you A, B, and C, then this won't be a problem anymore. And that's how I honestly feel about it. I am unlikely to change how I feel about that.
Yeah.
I
I
was
don't
gonna
know.
say,
But people see that as being really jerky, and I don't mean to come across as a jerk when I do that. I just like I can only hear a solvable problem so many times before I have to do something about it.
I
So
no, that's
how many
totally.
more times do I have? Because I know I've come to you about the same thing multiple times. To you, to Chef, to Drylix, to Gray.
I've also seen you affect different strategies trying to find a way to deal with it amicably. So I mean, I actually kind of commend your efforts at this point.
Yeah,
Appreciate. Not
it's
just
clear that
easy.
you're trying.
Yeah.
We at
If it's
least
clear
have
that
a
you're trying, that goes a long way to intent of you're trying and it's not working, but you're not just sitting there just complaining about it. I will say
Okay.
to
I feel like I am.
to the points of people just complaining about things. Sometimes, like I'm very much I will like just get up and go solve my own problems for the most part. Or I'm very willing and able to try to solve my own problems, but I will oftentimes also need to just process on the fact that the problem has happened and need to just vent at someone and just to like process and acknowledge that yes, this is a thing that is happening. I'm not trying to solve it right now. I'll solve it as soon as I've processed it, because then I can turn, like, once I've accepted that this is what the situation is, and then I can turn around and do problem solving. But like, so, but I need to just vent about it first to get out the frustration with the situation, so that that's not constantly coming up when I'm doing problem solving. So that is like,
Yeah, it's one thing
I
to
do try to watch
acknowledge and
myself.
another thing to act on it. Because sometimes you need time to process that portion of it too, right?
Very much so. Yeah, and that's where I find venting very useful, and also that I have with several of my friends have an explicit like, hey, I'm going to vent about something. Is that okay? I, and being upfront about, this is the section where I mean, and then again, it's me, so hey, I'm about to say a lot of words about something is also known as, hi, I'm here. But that, hey, I just need to vent and process about something. Um, is this do you mind if I do so in your general direction? Um,
Yes, and I need
if
to
not,
get
I can
better
take.
at warning people when I need to vent, and I thank you for reminding me that some people need warning.
Yes, and that's the other thing is, I'm always happy to be there for other people who need to vent, but it is also much easier to listen to someone venting if they preface it by saying, "Hey, I need to vent about this," and I go, "Great, I will happily. This is a safe space to vent," versus them telling me about it, where again we go into the thing of the like, okay, am I comforting you? Am I act, figuring out a solution? Am I uh, listening in on a story of, hey, how'd this go? Uh, you know, yeah, that explicit communication of intent at the start
Yes.
really helps with the listening to event. I I, I also I feel like I've used the term, but heard that term before, but I'm stealing. Do you want me to do you want me to active listen to this, or do you want me to problem solve it? I'm
I do
totally
like that. I
totally
really
using
do.
that.
I'm stealing that too, by the way, to learn. Not just the "it's okay to not be okay" from Peach, but the "do you
Don't
want me to
worry,
listen or
it's
do you
not
want me to
stolen.
fix?"
Yeah, don't worry. I don't consider it stealing. My insurance is already paid for it, so you can have it.
Thanks. Let's see. Pete said, I'm more reactionary than I thought. Way too much One Piece, I think. I'm able to listen to others vent. I just have the issue where me venting is problematic. A lot of times I feel I'm bothering people when I need to vent, so I don't. And that's definitely a portion of that anxiety. Also, depression can throw that in your way. It sucks because depression and anxiety often go hand in hand, and being able to vent or release or anything can make you feel like you're just dragging people down, dragging the mood down. People are having a good day, so you don't want to bring them down. Or somebody's got enough problems, you don't want to bother them with yours, that kind of thing. And that's another reason why we've got the rant and vent release area in the Discord channel. So even if you feel like you can't signal out to one person to listen, you always have a place that you can release. And those who are available to listen are looking. So don't forget you've got that spot too, because I know you're in there,
Hmm.
Peach. And it's always okay to ask, hey, I need to vent. Can somebody listen? That's what I did the other day. Whew, I had a very bad PTSD rage moment and just completely went off. And soon as I was done, I had the, racing heartbeat, shaking anger and everything else. And I just needed to say something and rant about it to somebody so that I could get it out. So I went into that Discord channel and said, "Hey, I need to vent. Somebody meet me here." And the first person that did was Dralix. Thank you, by the way.
Hugs.
Yes, thank you. Many, many hugs. And it really was the purpose of those channels come to fruition. And it by the end of things, when I had time to think about it, I was just so proud of what that community or our community has become. And then
I,
Peach, you said you try and then you second guess and it becomes the beast on your back. Yes, I know that all the time. That's me at work. Like I'll be confident in what I've done, and then it'll be questioned, and then I start second guessing. It's like, well, I thought I knew it. What's the
Don't
problem?
worry, everyone. Anxiety Man is here with the power of overthinking.
Huzzah!
Wait, he's in the corner. Wait, he's huddling up. He's not doing anything. Oh,
Oh,
crap.
That is
oh no.
literally what my shirt says today.
Oh
Overthink.
really?
I'm not joking.
Oh
That's awesome, actually. Like, not that that's a superpower, but
Would you like to know what my shirt says today?
yes,
yes.
Cleverly disguised as a responsible adult.
that sounds about right. I mean, yeah, that's a cute shirt. You know
Hey,
I'm
little brat.
joking. Yes, I'm joking. We pick on each other because we care. Really. There's nothing
Yeah,
like
it's medicinal use bullying.
what is it? There was something that I read somewhere that said we wouldn't be such good friends if we didn't gently bully each other on a regular basis. I like that gently bullying.
I couldn't love you so much if I didn't hate your guts just a little bit.
Just a little.
Oh, that's cute.
Actually, a certain amount of wisdom in that, but I'll discuss it another time.
that's why I call my the person who would otherwise be called my best friend, my friend nemesis.
I like it.
So I found this post and I just love it. Okay, it says okay. So wait. So just go with me for a second. Enemies with benefits.
Hate cuddling. I've got a video to
Yes,
post to the
yes, it's
channel
definitely a
later.
thing.
Hate cuddling.
I've got a video to post.
Oh
God.
yes,
I've
no,
got a
that is
video.
definitely a thing. I hate you so much. I just have to hug you so tight right now.
That's like
hug you so hard.
when people are like trying to calm down an angry cat. It's like, oh God, I hate you. Stop clawing my face. Let me
Yeah.
just hug you and love you. Damn it. I mean, darn
Yes. Cats are the masters of inciting and receiving hate cuddling.
it. That's awesome. Oh man, I love this group. I love you guys.
I do too. I wanted to point out, like, I love how many of like just the collected people, by which I mean everybody who's here. I love how much everybody is just like a natural person who wants to help people and has that instinct to try and find a way to do so, even to the point where sometimes that ends up becoming a detriment to us.
And I think that's mainly because of what each of us has survived. I
Well, yeah,
mean,
but I think what I'm saying is it's a little bit more amazing that this many people who have been through this many things and have come to this conclusion can stand each other. Normally, there's only like one of us per group.
aw. Well, I'm glad that you're able to be a part of this bigger group of survivors and.
Hey, I love you guys.
Aw.
Me love you too.
Yay, I love that it was said so angrily too.
Virtual group hug.
Me are to be loving you.
Starfish
Yes.
really loves you. No, Charlie? Unicorn? Nothing? Okay.
We're on a bridge, Charlie.
I think
Oh,
also
they
the
got my
first or
freaking
second- the
kidney.
first-
I just
That
lost
one was in the
5
early ones.
viewers. No, I'm kidding.
The magical Leopleurodon has spoken. It has shown us the way. It didn't say anything.
We're going to Candy Mountain, Charlie. La la la, la la la.
Now I know what I'm watching for the rest of the night when this is over.
Yeah, that and llamas with
Charlie-
hats. Definitely llamas with
Carl.
hats.
Oh, I love
yeah.
llamas with hats. It's so demented at the end. It's wonderful.
Does anybody remember the old pivot programs and the stick figure cartoons when YouTube was first launched, like almost right at the same time as the Charlie Unicorn?
Oh yeah, I remember some stuff from even before then. I remember like there was stickdeath.com for a while. That was
Stick
fun.
Oh,
Death.
I missed it.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, man.
Albino
do so
black
much at
sheep
work.
and Newgrounds. They had the
Oh my
best.
god.
Newgrounds had a lot of good stuff. Albino black sheep. I was into a lot of their text stuff for whatever reason. I liked all of their weird conversations.
E-Bombs World.
E-bombs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're good.
Joe
I saw
Cartoon.
Oh, here we go. Here we
Joe
go. Like I
frickin'
said.
Cartoon.
What?
Yes.
Oh yeah, Joe Cartoon and Adam
Yes!
Film.
Joe Cartoon.
Believe it or not, Adam Tunes was owned by Shockwave.
Really? They
Yeah.
were owned by them? I didn't know they were owned by them. That's
Yeah, it went from
interesting.
Shockwave to Shockwave to Adam Films.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I knew
Sorry,
that they
Alex,
were like on the
talking
front
over
wave
your
of the
head.
Flash animations.
I don't know which Alex you're talking to, but I think we're both okay.
I think the young Alex the younger is that a thing?
Alex the Young.
Alex the Second.
Alex the younger and Alex the elder.
Thanks for reminding me
Alex,
about
the non-first of his name.
Crack.
And we're
Guys are
dorks.
great. Yes. So this has gone from a regularly titled program to the general chat, and I'm okay with that. And this one can last as long as it wants.
Well, that being said, I do actually have something that's somewhat relevant as far as relationship stress, and it
How
deals
dare
with
you.
Well, it's
the whole-
not necessarily stress. It's just mental illness within the relationships, and
Oh
and-
yeah, absolutely. That's
yeah,
that's all
but-
relevant to it too.
yeah, a lot of stress can happen, especially when
Yeah.
there's not understanding.
Well, and that's the big issue I've got to talk about is we're not going to drop any names, but there is a particular roommate at our house who there is a whole situation about this person where the rest of the house feels that one person is trying to gaslight everybody, which is not a good look.
Mhm.
You know, like, do you understand? Like the entire concept that we feel that okay, so this person is has put in documents with the leasing company stating that they wish to move out and be taken off of the lease. Has intentionally twice gotten the information on the documents incorrect, knowing that, for example, I'm not going to sign documents that don't properly describe the situation. I would never put myself in that sort of legal situation.
Mhm.
And we're now all at we've all come to the idea that this person never intended to actually move out, but was trying to leverage them moving out and taking their income from the house against everybody, which makes no sense because without this person, we're all financially stable enough to run the house and would be happy for this person to move out on good terms.
And
Like,
now still want them out.
Any type of financial, like, what do you call it, penalties?
Yeah, that she's gone out of her way to try and drop this in our laps all of a sudden so that we would incur penalties. Is now like we're coming up on the legal limit of so here in Colorado they have a situation where your rent cannot incur legal fees until the 9th. And she's the only person who hasn't paid rent and is insisting that even though this document isn't signed and it's not set up that she's leaving, and even though the document literally says that she waives her right to the deposit, which means she doesn't get her last month's rent for free, she's trying to make us sweat that she won't pay rent, even though we've told her, like, we can still pay the rent without you. Just tell us what's happening. Like, we're really nobody's trying to be into a fight with this person. If she wants to leave, she's free to leave. If she wants to stay, I mean, like, we'll deal with it. We don't particularly want her here anymore, but she is on the lease, and we signed a lease with her. Like, we're happy to go through it. But
That's a
this
contract.
person, yeah, but this person has decided that they wish to cause us harm, and like nobody else in the house really has any interest in joining into this war
playing
with
that
this
game.
person. So like that's like the weirdest thing I have is one person trying to gaslight an entire group of people who are the only people relevant to the situation they're trying to gaslight them in. Like how does that even
Yeah,
I'm so lost
it's
in dealing with this person because like we don't want to engage in any sort of hostile or negative way. Like we really don't.
it almost sounds like she's playing the only thing I can really kind of associate this with is like they're playing the victim card even though they're causing the situation.
Hmm.
You know, it's like they
Right.
don't want to come right out and say, "Listen, I want to leave," but it's kind of like they want to make it seem like there's a situation, but they're the victim, therefore they should leave, but they should also be somehow
Compensated
thanked
for it.
for leaving. Yeah, yeah, compensate me and thank me and view me as the hero because I'm the one leaving, even though I started it. You know, um,
Yeah. That
I,
sounds
I,
like something that I've seen in the past with other people who have struggled with abandonment and uh, being ignored, or what is it called when you're not taken care neglected. So
Yeah, yeah.
some
Well, and that
people withdraw even further into themselves. Some people are able to cope and function. Others end up going into a twisted, narcissistic, manipulative side of things.
yeah. Well, and I mean like that would kind of describe her past situation as far as I understand it and over the past couple of years. I mean, Kitty, you've heard some of it at least like the people here including, Dragon and the others have tried to help out with like
Hmm.
getting this person to feel connected and getting this person to be a part of everything, but also if this person doesn't want to be a part of what is going on here, then this person is under no
Mm.
pressure. Like again, our whole thing is as soon as she said like, well, and at for like as soon as she started moving stuff out of the house, we were like, if you're leaving, just let us know. And she spent about a week and a half saying like, oh well, who said I was leaving? Before suddenly we get the email from the leasing company about the document about her wanting to be taken off the lease and us needing to sign it. And the first time we all did sign it, but the first document literally said that she would have to be out at the beginning of last month, and this document hit us at like the 27th of last month, and so she didn't sign it.
Wow.
yeah, it sounds like she kind of doesn't really know what she wants, and with
Yeah,
the whole like when you watch someone take like their bed and like other big items from their place, like, are you leaving? Who said I was leaving?
Your
Okay, are you getting
actions.
new stuff then?
yeah, yeah. The whole thing was is like nobody assumed you were. I just said if you're leaving, you should let us know. And the response was, "Who said I was leaving?" Like no one did. This is me asking because that's what it seems like is happening. And she spent a week like on that whole train of I'm not going to say that I'm leaving because like I said, it seems like she's trying to make sure that this gets dropped in our lap. She doesn't understand that the people here are capable of dealing with it if she leaves, and we don't understand why she wants to hurt us in leaving.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, like, and I would love to figure it out, but I also like, I don't have time to waste on talking to that person when most of the conversations just end up being like, well, you guys are all just against me and you want me gone. It's like we don't, but you are free to go. Like you're not a prisoner here.
It's a yeah, it's almost like you want to have like a group meeting and say, listen, it's like we don't necessarily want you gone. What we want is to know what you want.
Yeah.
We just want information to know how to like budget and plan for stuff.
Yep. Well, it's like the way that we've all found to deal with it is we just planned for dealing with her not, throwing in money, and we've made sure to protect our interests as far as that go because we don't want to lose, our house.
Right.
Yeah,
And it's just like, we're like I reached out today and asked if she was going to pay rent, and she did not actually answer the question. So we're still waiting to see about that. But we all have the money to cover it anyways. And if she doesn't pay rent, then unfortunately, we will have to file a direct grievance and have her removed, as opposed to her being able to be removed amicably,
Yeah.
like the way it could work.
It's like she's wanting to be a victim as well.
yeah.
I hope not, because like nobody like, and there's all of the conversations have been in text message. Like we have it all transcribed. Like,
That's probably the best thing at this point.
oh yeah, no, I've refused to have actual verbal discussions because I'm just not going to get into a situation where emotions are going to get high and things are going to be said. Like everything is going to be in text, and I'm going to double check it before I send it and make sure that I'm at least covering my bases and being as forward and as amenable as I can be, at least. I mean, like again, we don't wish this person any harm. If she wants to leave, she can leave. We have somebody to replace her on the lease. Like it would be a seamless transition for us. And if it would make her happier, and I've been telling her this is the third lease now that she signed that I've been trying to tell her, if you'd be happier elsewhere, please, like, feel free to do so. Don't stay here on our behalf. And this is now the third time she signed and stated that, like, well, I'm worried that you guys won't be able to keep the house after she's been told, like, we're fine. We don't need your assistance. Like, we appreciate you being here. We don't hate you. Like, you're a good person as far as we know. Just but like
There's the addendum.
but don't stay well, I mean, as far as we know, is like I'd say that about anybody. Anybody is a good person as far as I know. I literally don't know who's got bodies buried underneath their basement. I straight up
Let it
don't.
happen.
Those were all allegations.
See,
Yes,
I
'cause
love
I
you
totally
guys
have.
because I love you guys that's the response.
That's because we're all sick and twisted individuals because we have to deal with our own brains, and so we have to come up with
Exactly.
really twisted senses of humor to combat what we
I,
face every day.
I was on mute when you said the body's buried. I threw in allegedly.
That's all right. I got you covered.
Thank you.
Yeah, see, but and so like that's just like one of those big things that like this person I've known this person for a very very long time. My wife has known this person for a very long time. Most of the people in the house have known this chick for a decade plus, and like we've continuously lived with this person. We've continuously tried to help out this person because we care about her and her well-being. And it's terrible to see this happen, and it's weird to have that whole concept of like at this point right now, most of the people in the house, if she does end up leaving and she never spoke to them again, that would be fine for them. And just like watching that happen to somebody that people have known for a decade is just it's horrifying to
Sad.
watch.
Yeah,
That is very sad.
that's that's a hard thing whenever it's like you have friends that you or just not so much friends, but even like acquaintances or just people you've known for decades, and all of a sudden they change.
Yeah.
And it's weird. And it's kind of like what's going on.
It's like their trauma took over and they no
Well,
longer
yeah.
have
Yeah,
a coping mechanism to change, and so they've become toxic.
Yeah, because this isn't a
yeah,
change. Like we've known that she has these tendencies towards like self isolation. That's why we've done some work with trying to like let her know that she's welcome and free to be a part of the community that we're building. Like with no pressures and no strings attached to that. Just you're here and we care about you, so you can be a part of things as much as you want or as little as you want. And to see that like eventually it's gotten to the point where she's had to recede so far into herself. And I have to assume that that has to do with, the way that she's related with people here and the way that she's related with people at work and the way that she's related with people in her romantic relationships. That she's ended up at this place where things are just where she needs to be protecting herself. And that means that
Yep.
anybody who's not directly supporting that is against her. And that sucks, but I don't know. Like
It
that's
doesn't.
sorry guys,
It's
so that's
very
my
sad.
TED talk about yeah, that's my sad TED
Ow!
talk about people.
Hi, Jasper. Let me close the
it's
thumbtacks. I know he's coming up here.
Does anybody have any advice as to how, just to make sure to maintain amicability and just a lack of drama with somebody who's directly trying to at every interaction cause a problem?
I'll let you know when I have something.
All right,
I,
good.
Yeah,
I
I'm not alone in this.
yeah,
it's not easy.
I think that honestly, just like where you guys are going about it is like making sure everything is like in written communication, so you have like the receipts or like the testimony. Just make sure everything's written down so you can actually go back and point to that. I would say like don't be alone with her, especially in the house. Like make sure there's always at least more than one person around, even though she can still yell victim of, oh well, these two people ganged up on me and they made me feel bad or something happened and it's on them. It's like
That way there's extra
it's like
Absolutely.
accountability. Yeah.
yeah, it's like
You know what? Like one of the unique things about being a streamer is like right now, if I'm downstairs in my room, I can literally push a button on my desk and I'm recording. And if I'm outside of my room, I have a camcorder on me constantly because DPS just bought a camcorder so we could take footage of other project.
That's cool.
Time for
So
streamers gone wild.
right? Oh goodness. It's like seriously, I just want to like set it up and just show some of the weird stuff. Like show some of the weird stuff my pets do.
yeah.
Hi, Jasper.
I'm gonna like do a whole series about how my kitten, how the little black kitten acts all innocent.
Oh, Mizune?
Yeah, she acts
Yeah.
all innocent, and then
Innocent my butt.
yeah, Scattle beat the crap out of her, and she comes over crying to me and like trying to get him in trouble, and it's like, yeah, but I just watched you just like antagonize him for 2 hours.
All right. I think this is a new record. I've got 3 eggs done. Look at this. I've got a
Woo!
solid gold 3-inch. I've got a rose gold and gold 3-inch, and then what?
Shiny treasure eggs.
Nothing. I thought of something funny.
Oh, I'm selling my eggs. You might want to be more specific. I'm selling my dragon eggs.
About to say, you may want to be more specific.
I thought of a comic. Yes, that's it.
Uh-huh. Okay, so we've got it on a black fur background. Thanks, Jasper. Appreciate.
I'm saying,
So,
speaking of cats, Scout is like, I just realized when I reach down, Scout is like underneath my chair. He's gonna die, I swear to God.
poor baby. Still not specific enough. Grendel also cutter tortures Mizu. Who's Grendel?
Pudge, aka the littlest little.
Ah, okay.
And yes, Pudge is a monster, and Pudge does control the weather.
So yeah, I've got a gold. I've got a rose gold and gold. It looks kind of like copper. And then I've got the 3 metallics, the silver, gold, and rose gold. These are pretty.
Sorry, something said metallic.
Shiny. Super shinies. Jasper is not happy with this right now. His face. He's staring at me and just like, really, Mom? Fine, whatever. At least I'm getting attention. Those look super pretty. Thank you, Peach. I definitely have an idea for one specifically to be designed for you at some point, but I'll need to go over some colors and such. But they will definitely be sparkly. All right, those gotta move. And Jasper, since you're up here, you get to be on camera. Hi, Jasper. Say hello to the viewers. I don't need your foot in my face. Look at the Pete. Look at the Pete. Did I mute everybody?
No,
Yes.
still here.
Okay, there we go.
I mean, what?
Uh-huh. Say hi.
That's definitely a high.
Easy, my baby. 8:44. We almost made it to 9.
Oh, if you need me to just keep talking, I have that ability.
If you
That
need
was not an
content,
encouragement.
It's not that I need content. It's more hours and more
Did
streams
you
in the
know the
middle.
ceiling is white? I mean,
I mean, mine's kind of
Wow.
a beige. It's not very pretty. And it's all bumpy.
mhm.
oh, popcorn, yeah.
Yeah, not the good kind. So,
Yeah.
I was thinking And I don't remember if I mentioned this earlier on the stream or just to a select few, but I'm thinking of adding another day to my streams, like maybe every other Sunday or something like that, where I could do some interviews with specific people, just kind of have a one on one mental health chat with somebody. What do you guys think?
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, y'all like it?
I think expression and freedom should go together hand in hand.
Yay. And, while I'm talking to whomever I have these one on ones with, I can totally work on the eggs as well. Let's see. I was going to pull up an image of the price lists. By the way, shameless plug, I sell these dragon eggs that I've been making, so I might as well go ahead and put the price list on here so that you guys, if anybody's interested, let's see. I thought I put it on here. Yep, there it is. Let's put this a little bigger. Yeah, that totally works. That's tiny. And, well, that's fuzzy. That's not helpful at all. Well, I'll post it on my Instagram and my Twitter and such like that, and my Facebook. So anybody who wants to buy a dragon egg, they can reach out to me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, livingdeadcat at gmail.com, spelled just like it is on my logo with a 3 instead of an E. And um,
Dragon Panther Studios.
yes, Dragon Panther Studios at
Yeah.
dragonpantherstudios.com they're supporting me fully with this, and you can reach out to them and they can get the info to me. And don't forget the Sanctuary server, Gray.
I'm Gray. I mean, yes.
Shameless plug time.
Shameless plug time.
Sanctuary.
All right. So, Sanctuary is a place for the nerds, the kingsters, the geeks, the metalheads, the goths, uh, the socially awkward. It is a safe place for pretty much everybody. A place where you can get away from like the bulliness of social media and all that sort of stuff. Place where you can hang out, watch movies with us, listen to music with us, do art with us, play games with us. It's just kind of our baby.
After Morgan Freeman, Gray should voice the next funny religious movie. Yes.
I'm okay with this.
As God.
I mean, I personally think that George Carlin should have played God, but that's me.
So, also, as a note to the sanctuary, because I have been told that it's a little it excludes a few personal or a few types. It's not only for those of us that feel outcast from regular society. It could be for anybody who is a socialite who just wants to find an escape from their everyday life as well. It's for, even a couple of brohams that want to just feel normal instead of having to keep up appearances. However you want to do it. I mean, we are here for everybody.
I mean, the truth is that there's not one definition that really matches what the sanctuary is.
Yeah,
I'm
we have
perfectly
all
normal and I'm here.
What's normal?
exactly.
Exactly.
What is normal for the spider is chaos to the fly. I've always loved that quote. It.
It's a great quote.
I'm just gonna, since you're gonna lay up here, you're gonna be like displaying stuff. There you go. Lay on an egg. Chaos is an even state of being. Here, here. Jasper does not look happy.
I do want to say it is an 18 and up server.
Yes, 18 and up only, please, because there are a few adult themed channels in here, especially when it comes to supporting the kink community. But we are also LGBTQ plus, and this is a safe space for anybody. So, I'm going to go ahead and do one last share. So some of you, I mean, well, all of you in the group here know, but not every one of my viewers knows is we are a rainbow safe space. Yes, we are, Peach. Thank you for that. Not everybody online knows that I have a son, and he is also suffering several mental illnesses. He has been diagnosed with ADHD, anxiety, depression, oppositional defiant disorder, conduct disorder, and may or may not be on the spectrum for autism and may or may not have bipolar disorder. Last year, he was tested thoroughly and got his full spectrum of diagnoses confirmed. And unfortunately, because he was under the age necessary to test for bipolar, it was only a guess and to assume, but to get him tested again after he was, 12. So unfortunately, those tests run 600 and up, and it's not covered by insurance. Which I'm not going to go into the health insurance industry or anything like that, but working with him while I also have multiple diagnoses has not been easy, even if he knows that he's got somebody on his side. Because, especially with oppositional defiant disorder, that's pretty much any authority figure you're against. I don't know the full scope of it. I've researched and read forums everywhere. I still don't fully understand the disorder, but it is one of the big reasons that he and I butt heads so much. Now, we've gotten a lot better over the years, and we love each other very much. We are very close, but there are times where even though I may tell him something that he knows is right, he will argue against it. What was that?
Argue against it by reflex. Was
Yes,
it like
yes, it's by reflex. It's not always by choice. Sometimes it's by
yeah?
choice because hi, he's almost teenager, he knows everything, he's stubborn. I was there once, we all were.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully. but also lying as an impulse is a huge thing, and lying is something that I don't tolerate very well. And
Mm.
even though he knows what's right and he knows the consequences that are going to happen, the lack of impulse control that goes with ODD and ADHD compounds, and he does the wrong thing anyway, knowing that it's wrong, knowing full well there's going to be trouble after. But another thing with ADHD that a lot of people don't realize is, especially with the hyperactive, is the
It,
lapse
it,
in memory.
huh.
Like, you forget things, but you don't remember that you forget things. You forget that you have a problem remembering things all the time. So that, those moments where people are like, squirrel, they forget that they have those moments. They don't realize that those are moments. It just is. It's like, think about a movie where the camera cuts to a different scene completely. It's like that. It's totally normal to see that in a movie, just like it's totally normal for somebody with ADHD to cut to the next idea or cut to the next activity and not think twice about what just happened.
Oh yes, yes.
And
Um.
I definitely realized that as I got older before my son was born because, I'd watch old cartoons all the time and then I'd see something for newer cartoons and I realized the cameras cut away so much faster in the newer cartoons. It's constant. And I don't know if it was media's way to keep kids' attention because the diagnoses were becoming more common, or if there's any kind of correlation between the two, like they're getting worse, so attention has to be split so quickly all the time that people are developing it. That's like total speculation, but it could be a correlation without causation. But I have noticed that the more frequent ADHD diagnoses have become, a lot of media has also shortened their attention span on camera angles and things. And it wasn't until that movie, what was it called? The one where it was one camera shot through the whole thing?
19. What was it? Like 1914 or something like that?
Yeah.
I was
That
thinking Cloverfield.
that a lot of people hated that movie, but I started thinking about it as like, is it because it didn't hold your attention? Because it's not cutting away during the boring parts that nobody wants to see, because that kind of, I don't know, it's weird. But now that I have a kid that's got these other issues with mental illness, I'm starting to see the world differently. Like, my diagnoses didn't come until around the time I had him, or actually till after I had him, well after. So it's almost eye opening to realize what they're seeing and what they're experiencing. And when he does open up, he shares a lot. He will block any kind of deep conversation or opening up a lot of the times, but when he does, it is mind blowing, the kind of things that he talks about and the way he sees the world and everything. And it is so interesting, strange, wonderful, and just confusing all at the same time. But at the same time, it also gives clarity to how his mind is working. So, and he's extremely intelligent for one, and that's probably one of the burdens that he's got to deal with because smart people, they say ignorance is bliss, and that is true. And intelligence can be a burden because you got to deal with all those idiots out there. But in general, I think it's a lot different being a child than raising one when it comes to understanding mental illness and how to cope. So yeah, that's my 2 cents multiplied by a million. I get it, Jasper. It didn't make a lot of sense, but that's okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for sharing. It's always going to be wonderful when anybody comes in to share. I appreciate each and every one of you for doing so. And just letting you guys know it is okay to not be okay, as Peach always says. And you guys, all of you, have valid feelings. Y'all are seen and heard. And thank you so much for being a part of this group. I'm going to go ahead
You're
and
welcome.
say, I'm going to go ahead.
Wait, she's talking to us.
Peach said, thank you for having us, Kitty. Thank you so much, Peach, for being here. And thank you for hopping in to share. I love when you get to share. It's not an obligation, but I like when you share. Mom Patrolalos. Hi. Thanks for coming. Glad you could make it. So yeah, go ahead and say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, John Boy.
Kapla, glory to your houses.
Good night, Billy Joe.
I don't remember all the Waltons.
I don't either.
All
All right.
right.
Y'all have a good night, everybody. Thank you again.
Good night.
Take care.
And remember, everybody out there, take care of yourselves and take care of each other.
You're not my real dad.
Don't start.
I would hope not.